everybody. I'm Drew with Splash Pages. Welcome back to TerrificCon. We have a great guest right here, Mr. Aaron Kuder. Sir, good morning. How you doing?
Morning. I'm good.
Okay. Wow, I'm still not getting used to this. Everyone's very polite here, and when someone like Mark Bagley is like, "Oh, okay, I'll adjust it." Go fuck yourself. I'm like, "Thank you. Good morning, sir."
That is a very Mark Bagley response.
Yeah, it really was. It was. I was like, "That's all the coffee I need."
Right.
So, regarding the first question I have, I want to go back to the beginning. You were 15. You bring your portfolio in, and Al Williamson is like, "You got it."
Wow.
Right?
You did your research, son.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. No portfolio.
Oh, no portfolio. Okay.
He was coming to a show near me. And I followed him through like inking.
Right.
And when he was coming to the show, I realized that he was also Flash Gordon guy, the Star Wars guy.
Right.
And I went up to him, and I didn't have my portfolio. All I had was a sketchbook.
Right.
15. And this is, mid-early 90s.
Right.
And going to a show, there was just a very large number of up-and-coming artists at the time.
Right.
That were just so, hungry to bash new artists.
Right.
So if you brought your artwork to a show as a kid, they just destroyed you emotionally.
Oh, wow.
So I was nervous. I brought a couple sketches to Al Williamson. He's very quietly looking through it.
Right.
Flipping the pages. And then he looks up and he's like, "Kid, you got it." And goosebumps, literally right now.
Yeah, I'm just hearing that. I was like, because I know a lot of your contemporaries, they did contests. They submitted, like Bagley, he did a contest. He won, and then later on, he didn't even get it till Jim Shooter was like, "Oh, yeah. So, right, you.
Right,
okay, we got you." So it's just crazy. So then you're in, and later, a little later on, you participate in something called, I believe it's the Weekly Sketch Challenge.
Yeah.
And that's how you met Chris Burnham.
Chris Burnham, Riley Brown, Koi Pham, the list goes on and on.
Yeah.
Nick Patera, Charles Paul Wilson the
Right.
third.
Right.
Like, all of these guys were up and coming, not professionally printed artists.
Right.
And that was basically my school.
Right.
I didn't go to college for art, and doing these weekly challenges with them for a number of years.
Right.
The cool thing about the challenge is that, and what made it different from all the other internet challenges and discussion board stuff at the time, was that there was a character picked every week.
Right.
Everybody drew the character, and you had to post original art, nothing digital, nothing altered, and then we all voted on which one we liked. The winner got to have the loser, or had the one of the people that that didn't win, send them their art.
Wow.
So there was some stakes on the line.
Right. Yeah. Especially now, a lot of them came big, so there's well, I got an original before he was a thing. So hell with you. So you did that. So I remember reading an article that you were talking about, you were on a desert island. What would you bring? And one of those things was A Lazy Sunday, which is a Calvin and Hobbes book.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm a huge Calvin and Hobbes fan. My mom turned me on as a kid. I've loved it.
You really did your research. This is crazy.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
So I have to ask, being a fan, Calvin and Hobbes, how did you get started? Who introduced it to you? What were your faves? And has anyone asked you for a commission or are you afraid Bill Watterson would be like, "No, don't you dare"?
I think he needed to copyright his work if he was going to have a problem with it.
Yeah.
But, okay. Answer your questions in order. Sunday newspaper is where I was introduced to it. Right. Yukon Ho, that storyline was the one that was just "Oh yeah, I'm gonna run away too." That was the message I got from it as a kid, anyway.
Yeah.
There was a commission I did of a Calvin. It was Calvin and Hobbes-esque with, but if they had been members of the Fantastic Four.
Oh my God! Whoa!
And I did Calvin as the Thing, and and Hobbes was the Human Torch.
Okay.
And Calvin's just saying like, rocks don't take baths. Like,
and it's funny because I'm just imagining like the dad is Doctor Doom kind of thing. You know what I mean?
That would be perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. It just in Latveria, being miserable builds character.
I think the dad would have liked to have been Doctor Doom.
Yeah.
But in like the Calvin world, like he probably would have been like Herbie.
I was gonna say Herbie, maybe Mole Man, just something crazy.
Yeah.
So talking about your Daredevil run, you're killing it with Saladin Ahmed.
Thank you.
You know, you guys are taking it to a new level. You have Father Matt. You have his 7 deadly sins are manifesting in people in his story. So you've had that kind of going on. But if I'm correct, you said in another interview that you put you're a Miyazaki fan.
Big time.
And you've been put in some small little, enough to not be like, something like, oh, I got that, but not, hey, don't do that.
Yeah, no, well, I'd never like want to like step on anybody's toes artistically, but I can't help who I'm influenced by.
Of course, yeah.
And I actually, one of the ways that I'm like Miyazaki's storytelling has influenced me that nobody would ever be able to like pick up.
Right.
It's not like a character design thing. Mm-hmm. It's an element of how he does backgrounds.
Okay.
And it's actually this really cool animation trick.
Okay.
Where if you have something on a horizon plane.
Okay.
There's like three-point perspective.
Uh-huh.
And in order to make the scene seem larger.
Okay.
Or smaller or more condensed, you take the two element sides.
Okay.
And you just switch them to their own 3-point perspective, but similarly linked.
Okay.
So it will like create like kind of a fisheye sort of perspective.
Wow.
Or like a kind of cluttered sort of perspective. I do that with my backgrounds a lot, especially in city scenes, to make it feel more like cities are like the way that cities feel sometimes, like just all on top of you all the time.
Well, not to quote it again, but you got it, kid. You know. So the last question I have is about meeting your heroes. I mean, you've met the Simonsons, Kevin McGuire, Al Williamson, who I'm sure you're still real chill with. Have there been any other experiences where, like, you're a creator, you're waiting online to meet somebody else? I was like, I am such a fan. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it happens every show.
Okay.
I mean, Brian Azzarello sent somebody over to my booth the other day.
Oh, wow.
Because he thought I'd worked on something, and he was like, "Oh, go to that guy." I honestly didn't know that he even knew my name. Like,
yeah.
And I love his stories. So
yeah,
I mean, it happens every time I come out. Cause,
right.
I was raised with this stuff.
Right. You
like,
still can't believe I'm
doing
doing it.
These were not only the people that taught me morals, but they're also the people that taught me to read. You know.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, that's the best. So, all right. So that's all I had, everybody. Aaron Kuder, Daredevil. Everything else, look him up. His artwork is dope. And I sound so ridiculous saying that out loud. But regardless, stay tuned. TerrificCon, we got a lot more content coming. And Miyazaki out.
Excelsior!